Hello, my beautiful people of Africa. This once again is your boy, Kwame, the African child. And we together bless God for an opportunity to meet once again on Africa, my heritage TV. As you know, it is all about Africa developing. It is all about we also being able to leverage on opportunities as Africans in diaspora. So we are together combining force into making sure that whatever message that is possible for us to convey out there, that can also give Africans a new orientation with respect to going forward. We would also strive to bring it forth to our friends, our brothers, sisters, our followers, subscribers, and all viewers across the globe. So today's short message is entitled, "This is how Africa can develop." This is how Africa can develop. So now, basically, let's go straight to the point. For any country to be able to develop, there are some drivers of economy. If I say drivers of economy, any modernized economy that you are seeing today, there is something behind it, or there is something driving that development. There is something driving that growth. There is something driving that advancement in technology and in everything that we all see and feel so happy of. So now the driver for the African growth, or the necessities, or the important factors we can consider when we think about how we can modernize the African economy, or how we can modernize the economies of our independent African countries, is the basic things all the Western world implemented. Now, simply, just imagine and ask yourself, so which country on this planet Earth can develop without good roads infrastructure? Ask yourself. I'm putting this question on you. Can a country develop in this 21st century without a good road infrastructure? Can a country develop in this 21st century without a good railway infrastructure? A good railway infrastructure? Is it possible? Can a country develop in this 21st century without a good infrastructure facility for the airline industry? Like, I'm talking about airport. Is it possible? No. So can a country or a continent develop without good modern and scientific schools that is up to date, that can meet the demands for the 21st century and whatever seems to be challenging us? Can a country or a continent develop without good hospitals? Is it possible for a continent, a country, to develop without good hospitals? No. Because do you know why? A healthy nation is a successful nation. A healthy nation is a successful nation. And the as religious people would capture it, next to godliness is cleanliness. Next to godliness is cleanliness. So for your people, citizens, to be able to live good and stay clean, it is what is going to guarantee the success of the nation. Because now, if you are to talk about any successful nation, you are talking about individuals. Because it is the individual that is making up to the nation. It is the individual that is forming the country. So if you say Americans are successful, it is not that America is a country. We are talking about individuals in America. We are talking about American citizens. So if we say Africans are wealthy, we are not talking about Africa just as a name, but we are talking about the individual, the people existing on the continent called Africa. So any country that has a GDP growth to be excellent or good should tell you that country citizens are wealthy, or most of them are finding themselves in middle class, or most of them have been able to establish themselves to an extent that they can create businesses, they can create employment for most of their own fellow citizens to also have access to work. And in so doing, you will see the economy advancing, or you will see the economy growing. It's simple as that. It's simple as that. And the next factor or driver that is pushing, or that is taking a country from one point to the other, is what we can also sit here and discuss. Manufacturing. What can you manufacture as a country? What are you manufacturing as a country? You can be a developed country, you can be a developed continent, whilst whatever you're consuming, you cannot produce it yourself. Whilst whatever you're consuming, you are importing it. How can you grow? How can you develop as a country and as a continent? You see, the reason why today, that's why China having almost about 2 billion population, but everybody is making mention of China. It is as simple as that. Chinese were able to realize their own power. They realized that they have the numbers, so they need to harness on their numbers to make sure, one, they can feed themselves, to make sure, two, they can create businesses and employment for themselves, three, to make sure whatever it is about China, they will promote it to the other world. And they've been able to see success on this tangent. The same way Africans can also learn from the Chinese people. Now, if you look at the Chinese people, they are barely producing whatever they are consuming. They are barely producing whatever their economy needs to survive and to grow. They are barely putting in place all the structures that China needs to advance, or China needs to turn itself around. Within, not looking outside. They are doing all these things within. So Africa cannot develop. Individual African countries like my own country, Ghana, cannot develop whilst we are always looking out to the Western world, whilst we are always looking out outside our country, outside our continent. Now let's just ask ourselves this simple question. We are here talking and dealing with a continent whose leader always feels so proud to travel for health tourism. If I say health tourism, do you understand? So simply, African leaders, they wouldn't put out, they wouldn't put up ultra-modern hospitals. They wouldn't put up ultra-modern hospitals that can meet the needs and the challenges of 21st century. They wouldn't give their citizens a good hospitals for them to go to seek healthcare. They put out substandard hospitals. They put up substandard health facilities. And because the leaders and the African leaders themselves knows that these substandard facilities cannot cater for their health, once they fall short, or once they fall sick, or once they realize some changes with respect to their way of living, they immediately flies to the Western world. They immediately flies to Dubai. They immediately flies to China to seek for medical attention. And I call that move health tourism because as you are leaving your country to go to other countries to seek for healthcare, you are feeding into that economy. You are providing money into that economy. You are supporting that economy. You are financing that economy to keep on positioning itself, to keep on positioning itself as a place worthy to attract people of African descent to always come to them to seek healthcare. Now you give us substandard rules. You give us rules that is not more trouble. And because of that, most of your citizens are losing their life through accident. Because of that, most of your citizens cannot live up to their expectancy age. So you're losing your youthful exuberancy that has the power, potency, and capacity to work to make the economy function. You are losing all this youth. You are losing all these people because of bad rules that is leading to accidents, that is leading to fatalities. You give us bad schools. And because of these bad schools that you are giving us, that you don't feel so proud to even take your own children to, you make sure your own children and your own family would run to abroad, would run to the Western world to seek for better education. So no wonder the governance system in Africa has become like a hereditary. It has become like a family affair. He has become like the order of the day that the elites are always going to rule. So if I become a prime minister, if I become a president today, I'll make sure my son, my daughter is also going to United States, going to Harvard, going to Princeton, going to Stanford, going to MIT, going to Yale, to have the best of education. So that when I am not there, they can also become politicians to also take over from us. So that is the economy that you guys have given to us in Africa. And with an economy like this, there is no way it can advance itself. There is no way it can grow. There is no way it can be modernized. Because the leaders managing the affairs of the economy, they don't have the know-how, they don't have the wisdom, they don't have the knowledge into turning things around. So, in proposing the ways that, to me, with my limited wisdom and understanding, I think Africa can develop going forward, I'm proposing that most African countries should start considering making it a law, that no politician would travel outside the country to seek for healthcare. No politician would have access to other schools in abroad to take his family to. No politician would have access to better facilities that he can provide in his country, but he wouldn't do that, but he would just corrupt himself with the money and just go and seek that same services outside his country or outside his continent. We have to enact laws, make these laws, so the politicians wouldn't be able to do this. And if these laws can be enacted and these laws can be imposed on the politicians, they would consider and they will start developing the country. Because if the politician knows that the only school that my children can go to is the University of Kenya, is the University of Ghana, is the University of South Africa, is the University of Abuja, is the University of Nigeria, that is the only school available for my children to also go to. My children cannot enjoy or go to schools outside Nigeria, go to school outside Africa. This is the only school available for my children in Nigeria. This is the only school available for my children in Tunisia. This is the only school available for my children in Morocco. They cannot go outside. That will compel the African politicians to make the schools good, to make the schools better, to help the schools to also become advanced in science, help the schools also become advanced with modern way of teaching, help the schools also become advanced with modern way of learning, so that they can also provide or they can also produce quality students, not quantity students, quality students that have the know-how and the brains to be able to turn the African economy around. If the African politician knows that if I fall sick, I can run to America to seek healthcare. If I fall sick, I can run to the UK to seek healthcare. If I fall sick, I can run to any other country like Dubai or China to seek healthcare. The only healthcare facility, the only hospitals that will be available unto me is the hospital we have in Ghana, hospital we have in Togo, hospital we have in Burkina Faso. That African politician would be compelled to make sure he would lift up the standards of the hospitals we have in Africa. He would make sure the hospitals in our country will see facelift. He will provide all the resources, all the technological health machines that we need in the modern hospitals. He will make sure most of the hospitals in the country would also have it, so that in case he is sick, he can be given the best of care because he cannot run outside. If the politicians realize that we are no more going to allow them to be riding the big cars at the expense of the poor citizens, because most of African roads are on more travel, and I don't blame the politicians because they themselves don't use the roads because they mostly fly. So if we can put in place a law that will compel all the politicians to drive a saloon car, not the Land Cruisers, not the Lexus, not the big cars, but to drive the simple cars the ordinary citizens are driving, so that they can feel the poor nature of the road, then the African politician can sit up and rearrange his mind in making sure they will construct better roads for Africa, so that Africa can also develop. I believe going forward, if Africa as a continent could consider this, it can help us to grow, it can help us to develop as a continent and as an individual country within African continent. God bless you and stay safe for joining me with this broadcast. I will see you again when the opportunity presents itself. Thank you. Take care.